Eiza, tell me about how it was working with the people behind True Blood and Game of Thrones. Was that exciting or daunting or a mixture of both?
No, not daunting. I think definitely exciting because from their track record of the way that they like to write, it's always so challenging as an actor. They don't confine to the traditional, orthodox way of approaching characters. For them, it's like multifaceted. Humans are multifaceted. There's no good and bad. There's bad and good to people. And so as an actor, you're sort of thrown different things at you all at once, and you sort of have to figure it out. So yes, as a creative, it couldn't be more of a gift because you're just sort of in this space where you're like constantly pushed and challenged to not fall into your natural instinctive decision, but to push it a little further. So just actually a gift more than anything.
And there's something about the poignancy of the story as well that attracted you to it as well, because it exists, in a virtual reality, lots of kind of sci-fi stuff going on, but there's a poignant aspect to it in the here and now in 2024 that kind of jumped off the script page to you.
To me, I think that timely conversation around a lot of the things, the subject of, also couldn't have dropped in a better time, because I think we're in a moment in time that everyone's quite deeply thinking of like, what is our purpose as humanity? Where are we at morally? What are the political agendas? What's really happening behind closed doors? I think that a lot of conversations are being had, and this show is just going to push us to remind ourselves that we can be quite selfish as a human race, and we think that we're kind of the center of the world.
Jovan, talk to me a little bit about the sci-fi and the physics aspects of this. Did you have to read up on physics? Was that something that you were good at school? How was that side of it, getting stuck into the background of everything that goes on?
I always prided myself on being a pretty decent student growing up. I was really good at biological science, or biology or earth science, but chemistry, physics, that wasn't my cup of tea. Mm-hmm. So coming on board to do this job, I knew I was probably going to try to watch a TED Talk or a master class or something like that, but to actually understand it, that's really not the goal. It's just to understand it enough that I can speak it and it sounds like I know what the hell I'm talking about.
So you didn't have to get stuck too deeply into the concepts. You were like,
but you want to know something, at least at base level, the best you can. And luckily for us, myself, Eiza, and the rest of the cast, we all had the resources to do so, because David, Dan, and Alex provided us with consultants who were actual physicists to talk us through certain things, so that as we were performing it, we could do it fully and sincerely and know that we understood, the very basics of it.
So you had experts on set. If there was something coming up in a scene where you were like, okay, explain to me again what this means, you could have someone go, okay, let me put it in simple terms.
Beforehand too, not like on the day. Like they're so organized that we had a long runway to prep, and no scenes were like drastically changed from the moment that we did the table read to when we started filming.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the character of Saul. You liked it because he was an underdog, right, in the story?
I tend to, if I ever have the opportunity to seek out a character, and I usually tend to look for underdogs, just because I feel like you always want to root for the guy who's not always up front and in front of everybody's face. Saul, he has so much potential, and I think that his closest friends see it. They just wish there was a way that he could find it in himself to take that step to try to have a successful life, or whatever that means to him. So it was an exciting opportunity to play that within the core of the Oxford Five.
The dynamic with the Oxford Five is really at the core of the show, because this is the show about relationships, right? Yeah. You can get into the different times in which it takes place and the different realities in which it takes place, but it's really a show about human relationships.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you couldn't said it better, and I think ultimately, not your traditional relationships. I think that again, going back to the first question you asked me, what I like about DAD is that they don't confine to the traditional dynamics, meaning, at the beginning of the show we meet them and there's history between them and they all went to school together and but that can change, and that's fine. Like, things changing, relationships fracturing or reconnecting, or belief systems sort of getting in the way of relationships or friendships or relations. It's a natural process in life, and I think that it really depicts it in a nice, realistic way versus this sort of like, we're all best friends, look, let's fight for the world. Like, that's not the realistic version of it.